Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a super exciting video. Today I wanted to show you guys how I did my makeup for the day of my wedding. I just figured it would be super nice to share it with you guys for any of you who may be getting married soon, or if you have a special occasion and you do want to do your own makeup. I definitely included a lot of steps and a lot of different products, but this is what I would recommend doing if you want your skin to photograph beautifully, if you want your makeup to stay on all day and just look very airbrushed and elegant. Yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you do happen to like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when I do upload. And without further ado, let's jump into this bridal glam. So you guys already know to prep my skin, I use my organic coconut oil. Just a light dab of this, and I push that into my skin. I already applied it, but just be sure for your wedding day or if it's special occasion makeup, don't try new skincare the day of. Don't try it like the week before. Like, stick with what you know is gonna work. That way your skin doesn't react any type of weird way the day of. As far as primers go, for the day of, I was super extra and I used two. So I used my Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer. I put this kind of on my cheeks and all over my face. And for my nose area, I used the MAC Skin Refine Zone. This one was super mattifying. It just really sucks up any oil, and like for some reason this area foundation never wants to sit properly on it. So by using this, it just helped it so my oils didn't break through and break up the makeup. I almost forgot to prep my under eyes, so I'm just taking this Estee Lauder night cream, dabbing that under my eyes. I definitely used this the day of my wedding because the night before, of course, like the nerves and the excitement did not let me get any sleep, and I woke up super early to have breakfast with my mom and dad, so I literally got like 4 hours of sleep. And to make sure my lips were super soft and kissable, I used my MAC lip scrub in brown sugar, and I just lightly sweep this on my lips just to exfoliate. I was using a liquid lip, so it was obviously going to be a little bit drier, so I wanted to make sure it didn't settle in any dry patches. So I primed my eyes using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I put this like around the entire eye area. That way I would be able to conceal like in here and just all the discoloration on my eyes. I look super cute. Alright, and then like I said, since I woke up at literally 6 a.m. to have like a pancake breakfast at Village Inn. I know, like, who does that the morning of your wedding? You normally don't want to be super bloated, don't want a heavy breakfast, but my dad had suggested getting like breakfast with my mom and me, and I was like, you know what, that actually sounds like a really chill way to start the day, and I'm so happy I did it. But to conceal the bags from the lack of sleep, I went in with this orange color in my MAC Conceal and Correct palette, and I literally just did a light kind of dab of it right under my eyes, just to conceal any like the puffy and darkness, and then that way I wouldn't have to layer too much concealer under it. So for my eyeshadow, a majority of the shadows were from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collab, and then I also used some of my MAC single shadow. To start the look, I like kind of mixed these two colors and use that as my initial transition as my initial transition color. And I took that with like a Morphe something, a fluffy blending brush. And it's funny because like I was so nervous that I literally just forgot how to do my makeup. This tip, if you're doing your own makeup, get a glass of champagne, get a glass of wine, relax, don't overthink it, and just kind of go with it, because I feel like the more pressure you put, the worse it comes out. And since I wanted the eye to be super like diffused, I didn't want you to be able to see where it starts and stops with like the deeper colors, and I also didn't want anything too smoky, so I used very similar colors, and I just went in with like a ton of them to create a very diffused blend. After that, I went in with the shade Texture by MAC, a very like warm neutral brown. I took that with the same brush and just put that a little bit lower in my crease, but still kind of really diffusing it out. And the morning of my wedding, not only did I go to breakfast, I also did my mom's makeup, I did my grandma's makeup, so it was a pretty busy start. I was super anxious because like of time and everything. I had done a couple of trials with my mom, I did a trial before with my grandma, so like I had the looks down packed, but I was still like super anxious, like trying to get the time and everything like down to a T. If you're doing your own makeup, like set everything aside, set your brushes aside, like time yourself, make sure that you have it all down. Don't make any big changes the day of. Don't change up your skincare, your foundation, anything like that the day of, and just don't also be too nervous. So now we're gonna get super crazy and go in with literally, it almost looks like the exact same color, but I took Saddle by MAC, this one right here. Like I said, these colors are just like barely different from each other, but I wanted to make sure that I had the smoothest blend so that in pictures it didn't look harsh or gritty or anything. And this one I took with a slightly denser brush. This is similar to like a MAC 217 or the Morphe M430. This is the one in the Jaclyn Hill collection. Right below the other colors and just lightly diffusing it. I always flick my shadows up at the end just because my eyes naturally droop down. So I like just giving a little bit of a lift at the end. Go in with your initial blending brush, soften up those edges. So now we're getting bold, just kidding. But I went in with the shade a little bit darker and I took Swiss Chocolate by MAC, a very warm, medium, deep brown. And I took Swiss Chocolate with the same brush, lightly tapped it in, and just slowly build up the color a little bit deeper in the crease, just below the last color that we placed. So next I took the shade Brown Script. It's literally like barely darker than Swiss Chocolate, but this was kind of like my deepest transition color that I use right beneath of the Swiss Chocolate to give some depth and to smoke it. And this color I took with my tried and true MAC 221. It's like a super small blending brush, but it's still fluffy, so it really diffuses the color but lets you get super like right in the socket. It's perfect if you don't own this brush. You need to. And again, I kind of angle it up right at the end and then lightly swirl it into the crease. And for my eyeshadows, I tend to drag them like pretty deep in. With whatever's left on the brush, I at least sweep all the way in, just because I don't have the deepest crease. My eyes are slightly hooded, so this just helps really define the crease a little bit more. But again, I'm not taking it with a bunch of product, just whatever's left on the brush from like blending out here, that's what I just. Then I went back in with the concealer and I did like a soft cut crease, nothing crazy, nothing too perfect. I just took a little extra concealer on the back of my hand with my MAC 242. Picked up a tiny bit of concealer on both sides. Started right here and just started lightly pressing. For the tail, I just lightly took whatever's left on my brush and flicked the concealer into those shades. And then I'm going to add more shadows to kind of blend that after. The front part, I went in with Gold Bit by MAC. It's such a gorgeous like golden undertone highlight shade. Sprayed my brush with Fix Plus, that way it was more pigmented. And just lightly started pressing that on that first third. Sorry if you hear like lawn mowing or something in the background. I literally live on the 3rd floor. And like you would think that they were freaking using the lawnmower in my living room. For all over my lid, I took MAC Tan Pigment. It's like the most gorgeous rose gold sheen. It doesn't have actual glitter, but it just gives you that beautiful melted, like, oh, it's so pretty all over. Sprayed my brush with Fix Plus. And I took the same color we used in that inner part, and I just put that right in the center just to brighten up the eye. The shade, this is Cranberry by MAC. It's like a deeper purpley color, and put that on the end, like right on the edge of the rose gold to blend it into my crease colors. And then I went back in with the small blending brush one more time, took the Brown Script color, that darkest brown that we placed. So to start the blowout in my lower lash line, I took Texture, the warm brown, diffusing that pretty far down. Brown Script right here and put that right on my lash line. And then in between those two colors, I took Swiss Chocolate right here, and I'm just gonna blend those kind of into each other. Taking more of the tan pigment with the same brush, and that I'm putting right in that first third of my. Across my top lash line, I took this shade in the palette Mocha, and I just stamped that across my lash line to start out as a liner. I go in with the black color in the palette, and I just put that right beneath the brown, right on top of my lash line. That way it gives it some more depth and volume. So I'll kind of do it on top throughout here, and then once I get to the inner part right here, I just kind of come under and blink and stamp it on like that. So I'm gonna come back to the eyes in a second. For now, I'm gonna move on to my foundation. For the foundation the day of the wedding, I actually mixed the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusing Foundation with my Dior Forever. These applied beautiful. It gave me coverage. It smoothed out the skin. Ever since the wedding, I went on a cruise and I got a lot darker. So right now, my body is way darker than my skin, and then way more tan than, look at that. That looks insane. So for today's video, I'm actually gonna go in with the NARS Longwear Foundation. It's a little bit closer of a match. This is even still a little bit light compared to my body. But this is also a beautiful foundation if you have an event, if you're getting married, anything like that. This is also gives you good coverage, but it's a thin consistency to where it doesn't look cakey. So for our honeymoon, we went on a Disney cruise. We went on a Disney cruise to the mountains. But we really did go on a Disney cruise. It was so amazing. A lot of people looked at us like we were crazy, you don't have kids, why are you going on a Disney cruise? But I promise you, if you're going on a cruise, go on a Disney cruise. It is so nice. They have sections blocked off for just adults, and it really is such a good time. And their private island is beautiful. The water is crystal clear. But since we went on the cruise, I literally got 5 shades darker than what I was, which I love, because this whole summer I hadn't had a chance to go to the beach, and then we had the whole red tide thing going on in Florida. So once we got on the cruise, I was just so ready to finally get my tan back, my color back. My concealer the day of, I literally found the perfect concealer concoction. So I mixed my Too Faced Born This Way concealer and my MAC 24 Hour Wear concealer. And together, these are the most perfect under eye concealer ever. It smoothed everything out, did not crease, stayed on all day, wasn't too luminous, wasn't too matte. And then since I have some of those shadows still on my lower lash line, you want to be very careful when putting your concealer. So I'm going to put it a lot lower and then just blend it up. I knew that for the day of the wedding, I wanted something that was going to be long wearing. But I hate super dry concealers, but I also hate super luminous concealers because they tend to crease on me. So this was literally a lifesaver, and it didn't look too dry or heavy under the eye, which was perfect too. So I blended it with my sponge first, on the face. To blend it closer to my under eye so that way I didn't mess up the eyeshadow, I just took this small MAC 287 and just lightly diffused it under the eye. So to set my under eyes, I used the MAC Patrick Star powder. I stopped using this powder for 6 months because I knew I wanted to use it the day of the wedding, and I didn't want to be out because I knew I wouldn't be able to repurchase it. So I took that with my beauty sponge, picked it up with that angled part, and that's what I used to set. Now you want to be careful too setting, because you don't want to mess up that shadow. This is exhausting. There's literally so much steps, but I feel like for an occasion like this, it's worth it because you want it to come out looking pretty dang good. I'm not gonna fill in my brows. I'm gonna literally skip through this, not put it on camera, because everyone fills in their brows different. So when you guys see me again, my brows will be on and looking good. Then to kind of blend under my brows, I went in with the same transparent powder, and that also helps kind of blend the edges of the shadow. Then to highlight under my brow, I took the shade. I took the same shade that I used in that inner corner, just at the highest point of my brow to lift it. Contour, I took the Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer. For warm up and bronze the skin, I took my MAC Give Me Sun bronzer. This has way more of that warmer undertone to it, so it really just helped the skin just come to life a little bit more. Literally bronzed the crap out of my ginormous forehead. To further define the contour, I took whatever was left in my cap and just went under my cheeks. For blush, I mixed the colors Warm Soul and Dainty just to create a very soft, baby doll flush of a pink color on my cheeks, but I didn't want it to be too bright, but I wanted to have some color, and I felt like those were like the perfect bridal blush shade. Then I spritzed my face with some Fix Plus. For highlight, I mixed my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle and my Becca Champagne Pop. This one is literally cracked right now, so I can't even open it. But the Champagne Pop definitely has more of that like golden peachy tone to it. And the Soft and Gentle is definitely more of like a cooler champagne color. My nose, I took the highlights on a smaller brush. I took my MAC Studio Fix foundation powder and just did a very soft sweep of this all over the skin. That way everything melted together and photographed really nice. Lightly swirled and then just really softly buffed it in circular motions upward. It does take away some of the highlight, but since my skin is naturally oily, that highlight ended up coming back through anyway once I did my final setting spray. So I highly recommend doing this step if your skin is more normal to oily, and then if your skin's more on the drier side, just use a more hydrating powder. Now I do recommend going back in with whatever was left on your blush brush and just putting a little bit more of that after, just because sometimes it takes away too much of the blush. So to line my lips, I took the shade In Control by MAC. It's just like the perfect mauve pinky lip color. For my lip color, I use the shade Schoolgirl by Morphe. It's like the perfect mauve pinky lip. Perfect for my complexion, because since I do have more of that olive tone, I can't go in with something too neutral or just like washes me out. This color stayed on. And then for the center, to give it a little bit more dimension, I took a MAC Satin lipstick. So this is still a long wearing lip color. It has a little bit of a cream to it, so that way my lips didn't feel super dry. And it's a little bit pinkier. And I just put that right in the center. And lashes, I don't have the actual lashes that I used the day of the wedding, but I used the Socialite lashes by Pure Cosmetics, the foaming ones. So I don't have that exact one because the night of the wedding, of course, I ended up like taking them off. I don't remember where I put, but today I'm using the Pure Cosmetics foaming lashes in Bombshell. They're super similar to the Socialite lashes, just the Socialite ones are a little bit less dramatic. Topping my lashes with some mascara. So like I said, these weren't the exact lashes I wore for the day of the wedding. These are a little bit more like spiky and dramatic. But these are still really pretty if you want something a little bit more bolder. To cover the lash band, I took my Physicians Formula lash pen and I put this right on top of the lash band. I didn't put it on my lid. I didn't do a thick chunky line. Literally just put this right on top of the lash band to hide it, and that was it. I didn't want my eyes to be too like harshly lined with black line. And then I'm taking the shade Nylon by MAC and just further highlighting that inner corner. And then the last step I did, I kind of regret because I didn't want it as smoky, but this is just an option if you want to add a little bit more depth to the eye. I use the shade Costa Riche by MAC. It's like a warm chocolate brown, and I just put that right in my waterline to give it some more, like, something interesting. The final step that I did to set everything in place so that it wouldn't budge, I went in with my Maybelline Master Fix setting spray to lock it in place so I didn't have to touch up or anything throughout the day. Alright guys, this is the completed look. I'm sorry I couldn't film an outro because the day of, they would not stop mowing the lawn and it literally was like the loudest noise ever. So I just wanted to quickly say thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see new videos from me each week. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.